Good morning all of you. So in this lecture I am going to discuss about 13th chapter from 11th Food Science and Technology, that is sugar and its products. So in this chapter we are going to see this main points, that is main 4 points. First one, that is sources and properties of sugar. Second one, that is effect of dry heat on sugar. Third one, effect of moist heat on sugar. So in first unit we have seen about different cooking methods. In that we have seen dry heat method and moist heat method for cooking. So these are, we are going to see dry and moist heat methods effect on sugars, and fourth one, that is uses of sugar in cookery. Okay, so these are 4 points which we are going to cover in this 13th chapter. So we are going to start this chapter. So sugars are simple carbohydrates which are classified as monosaccharides, namely glucose, fructose and galactose. Okay, so basically we have seen the monosaccharides, disaccharides, oligosaccharides and polysaccharides in your carbohydrates unit. Okay, so monosaccharides are building blocks of carbohydrates. So these three are glucose, fructose and galactose. These are monosaccharides. And disaccharides, namely sucrose, maltose and lactose. Then what is disaccharide? We have seen it already, but I am going to explain it again. So disaccharides are carbohydrates in which two monosaccharide units are bind together with the help of peptide bond. Okay, so these are three examples of disaccharides. First one, that is sucrose. Sucrose is composed of two monosaccharide unit, that is glucose and fructose. Second one, that is galactose. Galactose is made up of two glucose units bind together with the glycosidic bond. And third one, that is lactose, which is also a disaccharide. It is mainly found in milk. One and only source of lactose is milk, and it is composed of two monosaccharide unit, that is glucose and galactose. Okay, so these are the disaccharides. Sugar plays a very important role in any cuisine. Okay, so cuisine means traditional dish of any country or any area. We are going to call it as a cuisine. Okay, so it plays very important role in various traditional dishes such as puran poli. We add sugar or jaggery into that particular chickpea dal. Okay, and we make puran, that is stuffed into the wheat flour, that is puran poli. And lot of cuisines or the traditional dishes are there in which we use sugar and which performs very important role in that particular product. Okay, additionally it provides energy to the body as it is form of carbohydrate. So as I already told you that it is a type of carbohydrates, it provides energy. As all of you know that primary source of energy is glucose, and glucose is a monosaccharide which is a type of carbohydrate. Okay, so let's start first point, that is sources and properties of sugars. So the main source of sucrose are sugar cane, which contains 10 to 12% sugar, beetroot 12 to 18%, honey and some fruits and vegetables. Okay, so natural sources of monosaccharides and disaccharides are indicated in table 13.1. So here is table number 13.1, which is about natural sources of sugars. So first one, that is monosaccharides. So glucose or dextrose, glucose is also known as dextrose. The sources of glucose are fruits and plant juices, honey, part of cane and beet sugar. Okay, so beet sugar is mainly consist or made up from beetroot. Okay, that is red beet. Second one, that is fructose, or you can also call it as a fruit sugar, because richest source of fructose is fruits or the ripened fruits, not raw fruits. So fruits, fruit juices, honey, part of cane and beet sugar. So these are the sources of fructose or fruit sugars. Third monosaccharide is galactose, which is present into milk and milk products. Okay, as I already told you that lactose is a disaccharide and it is composed of glucose and galactose. Okay, so second type of sugar is that disaccharide. So sucrose, it is one of the important sugar, or normally we call it as a sugar or table sugar. So sources of sucrose are sugar cane, beetroot, vegetables like carrots and ripe fruits. Okay, next, that is lactose. It is present in milk and milk products. So lactose, the one and only source of lactose is milk and milk based products. No any other food product is going to uh, provide lactose. Okay, so one and only source of lactose is milk and milk products. And last one, that is maltose. Maltose is disaccharide composed of two monosaccharide units of glucose, and sources of maltose are wheat and barley, etc. Okay, so these are the cereals. Okay, so now we are going to see about properties of sugar. So various properties of sugars are responsible for the cooking property of the sugar. Okay, so all of you know that sugar, when we add sugar into any food product, then it will imparts sweet taste. Okay, it increases the sweetness, and after that, according to the temperature which you, or the method for cooking the sugar, the texture of that particular product will also improve. Okay, so this changes are due to, or whatever the texture or the sweetness is imparted or improved by sugars is mainly due to the properties of sugar. So here we are going to see the properties of sugar. So first one, that is hygroscopic nature. Then what is meant by hygroscopy or hygroscopic nature? Okay, so ability of any food product to absorb moisture from environment is known as hygroscopy of that particular food product. So sugar have the ability to absorb moisture from surroundings. So sugar should be stored in dry place in airtight containers. That's why sugar based products become sticky if not properly stored. Okay, so all of you know that in damp places or in rainy or cold days, the sugar or salt also get moistened or lumps will form into that. It is due to the hygroscopic property of sugar or salt. So fructose has the highest hygroscopic power. Okay, as we compare other monosaccharides or disaccharides, fructose has the highest hygroscopic power. Okay, so it will absorb high amount of moisture from the environment as we compare with other monosaccharides or disaccharides. So this is the first property of sugar, that is hygroscopic nature. Second one, that is solubility. So sugars are soluble carbohydrates. Based on solubility, the sugars can be arranged in descending order as fructose, sucrose, glucose, maltose and lactose. Okay, so as we see sugars, then all sugars are soluble in water. Okay, so we are going to call it as a soluble carbohydrates, but when we talk about polysaccharides, then they are not soluble in water. Okay, so sugars, it means sugars are carbohydrates which are sweet in taste. Okay, so all sugars are soluble in water. Based on solubility, the sugars can be arranged in descending order. Okay, so here is the sequence and descending order of solubility. Okay, so fructose has highest solubility, after that sucrose, after that glucose, after that maltose, and lactose has very less solubility in water. Okay, so highest solubility is of fructose and lowest solubility is of lactose. You have to remember this point. Okay, so third property of sugar is sweetness index. Okay, so all of you know that we feel different sweetness when we consume different fruits. Okay, so due to this is due to the intensity of sweetness index. Okay, so all sugars differ in their sweetness from each other. Generally, sucrose is considered as standard with value 1. Okay, so normally when we study or learn about sugar, then we consider sucrose as a standard sugar, and whenever we want to arrange or study other sweet products, then we compare it with sucrose. So sucrose is considered as a standard sugar with value 1. Okay, so sweetness index of sucrose is 1. All other sugars are compared with the standard, and their sweetness index is considered as shown in figure. So whenever we want to compare the sweetness of other sugars or monosaccharides, disaccharides, then we are going to compare it with standard sugar, that is sucrose. So here is the sweetness index of different sugars is given. So sucrose, which is a standard sugar and which have sweetness index 1. After that, glucose, it has sweetness index 0.7. Fructose has sweetness index 1.7. Maltose has sweetness index 0.3 to 0.6. Sorbitol has sweetness index 0.5 to 0.6. Mannitol has sweetness index 0.4 to 0.6, and aspartame, it is a non-nutritive sugar. So what are the non-nutritive sugars? Non-nutritive sugars are such a we can also call as a artificial or synthetic sweeteners, and such a sweeteners are sugars or compounds which do not increase the glucose or sugar value of your blood. Okay, so it is very important for the diabetic person. So aspartame is a non-nutritive sweetener and it is 200 times sweeter than sucrose. Okay, so this is the sweetness index of various sugars. So fourth property of sugar is fermentation. Okay, so what is mean by fermentation? I have already told you that what is or the definition of fermentation in cereals and cereal pulses and oil seeds. So fermentation is nothing but the conversion of complex form of the substance to the simplest form. Okay, so sugar that you can also call as a sucrose undergoes fermentation easily by the biological process in which enzymes from yeast are involved to convert into glucose, fructose or maltose, and last product carbon dioxide and alcohol. Okay, so according to the number of monosaccharide unit, it will be converted into its basic building blocks, and at the end it will be converted into CO2, that is carbon dioxide and alcohol. Okay, so this property is very much important in baking industry, alcoholic beverages, other fermented products like idli, dosa, etc. Okay, so whatever idli, dosa or fermented products such as dhokla we consume, then there is very important role of this property of sugar, that is fermentation. Fifth property of sugar is hydrolysis reaction. So hydrolysis means breakdown. So this reaction are categorized in two types. First one, that is acid hydrolysis, and second one, that is the enzyme hydrolysis. Okay, so first one we are going to see about acid hydrolysis. So sugar on reaction with acids hydrolyzes to a new product. Okay, so here is one reaction. So sucrose, when react with acid, it will be converted into fructose plus glucose, and this conversion of sucrose into its building blocks is known as inversion, or you can also call it as an invert sugar. So due to formation of invert sugar or by acid hydrolysis, we can stop or inhibit the crystallization of sugar into any food product. So heat is accelerated in the hydrolysis by acid. Second type of hydrolysis is enzyme hydrolysis. Then what is meant by enzyme hydrolysis? In this type of hydrolysis, the hydrolysis takes place by with with the help of enzyme. So sucrase enzyme hydrolyzes sucrose to yield a liquid invert sugar. Okay, so when we react sucrose plus with water in the presence of sucrase enzyme, then sucrose will be converted into fructose plus glucose, which is a invert sugar. Okay, so this is a second type of hydrolysis, that is enzyme hydrolysis. Now sixth property of sugar is that heat treatment. So what changes will take place when we are going to heat sugar? So sugar can be treated with heat in two ways, either by dry heat, that is caramelization. Okay, so when we provide dry heat to sugar, then we are going to call it as a caramelization, and when we are going to provide wet heat to sugar, then we are going to call it as a crystallization. Okay, so we are going to see both these two terms, that is caramelization, or you can also call it as a dry heat, and crystallization, that is wet heat treatment, in detail. Okay, so what is given in do you know box? First, that is sugar, which is regularly used in sweet preparations, is chemically known as sucrose. Okay, so whatever sugar we use in our home, that is white crystalline sugar, is also chemically known as sucrose. Okay, molasses is the byproduct of sugarcane industry used for alcohol production. Okay, so molasses is produced as a byproduct during the production of sugar okay, from the sugarcane juice, and it is used in the alcohol production, that is a fermented product. Now effect of dry heat on sugar, that is caramelization. Okay, so we are going to see about caramelization in detail. So caramelization is the complex process in which when sugar is heated without any water or liquid, where various physical and chemical changes takes place. Okay, so what point we should how to remember here, that in dry heat method we are not going to add any moisture, water or liquid to the sugar. Okay, so we are going to provide dry heat treatment to the sugar. So what is definition of caramelization? So when dry heat is applied to sugar crystals and it reaches a temperature above its melting point, the sugar melts and decomposes to form a colorless liquid, which on continuous heating changes its color to yellow, light brown and finally dark brown. This decomposed sugar is known as caramel, and this process is known as caramelization. Okay, so one caramelization happens when we are going to heat sugar with the help of dry heat method. Okay, as heat raised or increased above the melting point of sugar, then sugars start to melt, and after melting there will be the decomposition of sugar at that high temperature. Okay, and continuous heating will change the color, flavor of that particular sugars, and mainly the color will be first converted into yellow color. After that, when we continue heating, then it will be converted to the light brown color. After continuous heating, it will again converted into dark brown color at the end. Okay, and this decomposed dark colored sugar is known as caramel, and the process of formation of caramel is known as caramelization. Okay, so this is used or the caramel is used in various food products for toppings. Okay, or to make that particular food product more attractive. So characteristics of caramelization: caramel sugar is brown in color. Okay, as we have seen in the definition of caramelization, It has pungent and strong flavor and slightly bitter taste. So these properties of caramel is due to dry heat treatment. Okay, it is less sweet than original sugar due to decomposition of sugars. It is in a crystalline state which is soluble in water. Okay, so crystalline state is soluble in water. So here is the diagram in which you are able to see the caramelization process, how we are going to uh, provide dry heat to the sugar, and after that it will be converted into this various products. So first one, that is dark caramel, next one black caramel, burnt caramel, no caramelization, light caramel, and medium caramel. Okay, so this all these colors of, or the different products of caramel are totally depend on the heating time and temperature during the caramelization process. Okay, so this is diagram of caramelization of sugar. Okay, next point is, on cooling, caramels turn solid and brittle and has transparent shiny appearance. Okay, next character of caramel is, temperature of caramelization depends on type of sugar. So different sugars have different temperature for caramelization. For example, fructose caramelizes at 110 degrees Celsius, sucrose caramelizes at 170 degrees Celsius, and maltose caramelizes at 180 degree Celsius. So when we change the type of sugar, then temperature of caramelization also changed. Okay, so it can be used as a flavoring in puddings and desserts, as a filling in bonbons, or as a topping for ice cream and custard. So it is used as a topping or for the decorative purpose, so that that particular food product will be more attractive. Okay, so uses of caramel in cookery. Now we are going to see the uses of caramel in cookery. So first one, that is decoration. Okay, as I already told you that it is mainly used for decorative purposes. So first one, that is decoration. Caramel is used to decorate desserts like custards and puddings. It is also used on cakes as a decorative agents. Okay, so this is the decorative use of caramel in cookery. Second, you can also use it as a binding agent. Okay, so since caramel solidifies on cooling, it can be used as a binding agent, so that it will hold mixture of food products together, that is, it works as a binding component. When the hot liquid caramel is mixed with other food ingredients and allowed to cool, it turns solid, thereby holding the ingredients together. This is seen in sugar brittles such as til or groundnut chicky. So chicky is very famous in our country. Okay, so whenever we are going to produce or manufacture chicky, then we are going to use caramel in preparation of chicky, where caramel acts as a binding agent. Okay, next use of caramel is flavor and taste. So addition of caramel to fruit cake and Christmas cake imparts a desirable flavor and taste to the preparation. As I have told you that the caramel have its specific color and specific taste and flavor. So when we add it into fruit cake or Christmas cake, then it imparts its specific or desirable flavor and taste to the food product. Next use of caramel is color. Since the caramel is brown in color, it gives a brown natural color to preparations like fruit cake and Christmas cake. So this brown natural color of caramel is very attractive. Okay, and it will increase the acceptability or palatability of that particular food product in which we are going to add it. Fifth use of caramel in cookery is variations in texture. So, what variations will takes place into the texture of that particular food product. So, solid pieces of caramel in chocolates and ice creams brings variation in the texture of the products. So, we can also change the texture of any food product with the addition of caramel. Sixth use of caramel in food cookery is coating agent. So, it also works as a coating agent in preparations like caramel popcorn. Caramel acts as a coating agent and improves the appearance, color and flavor. Okay, whatever popcorn we eat, there are also caramel popcorn are also available in market. Okay, so that particular popcorns are coated with caramel of sugar, and it will imparts a specific color and texture to the popcorns. So, here is one activity. Okay. So, activity 1, aim to find out the effect of dry heat on sugar caramelization. Materials needed are sugar pan, burner. Okay. So, what method you have to follow? Take a pan, add sugar to it. Okay. Heat on a slow flame. So, first of all you have to take one pan, and to that pan you have to add some amount of sugar. Okay, and after that you have to heat it slowly. Sugar will start melting into a colorless liquid. Slowly the color will start becoming yellow and then darken. Take out from flame and let it cool. Crush the caramel into small chunks and use it for garnishing ice creams, etc. Okay, so conclusion is caramel helps to improve texture. So you can also make your own caramel in your home also. So anybody is interested, then you can go for it. Next one, that is effect of moist heat on sugar, that is crystallization. Okay, so what is crystallization? So we are going to see here in detail. Sugars are soluble in water, due to which they impart various degrees of sweetness to different products like tea, coffee, syrups, etc. Solubility increases with increase in temperature. Okay, so this is the fact. As we increase the temperature of solvent, then the ability of that particular solvent to dissolve solute in it will be increased. Okay, so what is solute and what is solvent, we are going to see. This property is extremely useful in preparation of sweets like rava laddu, barfi, balushahi and sugar coated groundnuts. Okay. So, in order to understand how and why crystals are formed in a sugar solution, let us first understand the types of solution. So, here we are going to see about what is solution, what is solute, what is solvent. Okay. So, solution is made up of solute and solvent. Normally we make sharbat or nimbu pani. Then in sharbat or nimbu pani we are going to add sugar to water and lemon juice. Okay, so when we add sugar to water, then water will act as a solvent and sugar is acts as a solute. Okay, and mixture of sugar and water is called as solution. Okay, so this is very simple example of solution, solute and solvent. You will get it very easily. So solute, that is sugar, solvent, that is water, and it will form solution. Okay, sugar, water, solution, because sugar will get dissolved into water. After some time you are not able to see sugar molecules into water. Okay, it is completely soluble into water, so we are going to call it as a true solution. Okay, so this is all about solution, solute and solvent. So types of solution, then what are different, or mainly there are three types of solution. So we are going to see it one by one. First one, that is unsaturated solution, second one saturated solution, and third one that is super saturated solution. So firstly we are going to see unsaturated solution. When a solution has the capacity to dissolve more solute at the ambient temperature, then this type of solution is called as unsaturated solution. For example, take 1 glass of water and add a pinch of sugar into it, okay, or half tablespoon of sugar into that glass of water and stir it properly. That particular half tablespoon of sugar will get dissolved after 5 minutes or some time, okay. But that particular or one this is the unsaturated solution, because even if you are going to add another 1 tablespoon of sugar into it, then that particular glass of water have ability to dissolve another 1 tablespoon of sugar. That is the unsaturated solution, okay, which have ability to dissolve more solute in it at given temperature, okay, or ambient temperature. Ambient temperature is nothing but room temperature, and it is considered as a range of temperature from 25 to 36 degree Celsius, okay. So this is the unsaturated solution. Next type of solution is saturated solution. When a solution does not has the capacity to dissolve any more solute at the ambient temperature, then this type of solution is called as saturated solution, okay. So after that after some time into that glass of water, we are going to add again 1 tablespoon of sugar, okay. So such a after dissolving that sugar, that water is not able to dissolve more solute or more sugar into it, and that at given temperature or ambient temperature, and that solution is called as saturated solution. That it is not able to dissolve any more solute at the ambient temperature, okay. So this is the saturated solution. And third one, that is super saturated solution. Then what about super saturated solution? At a given temperature, if more sugar is added to a saturated solution, it will become super saturated. Now we are going to take the glass of water with added sugar, okay. So now we have to add again 1 tablespoon of sugar. So when you add third tablespoon of sugar into that water, then that water is not able to dissolve it, and that sugar molecules will remain as it is into the glass of water. So this situation or this solution is known as super saturated solution, okay. So this is the third type of solution. Now definition: when a saturated sugar solution cools down to form a supersaturated solution, the extra solute precipitate in the form of crystals. This process of crystal formation is called crystallization of sugar, okay. For example, balushahi, sugar coated nuts and fudge. On the surface of balushahi we are able to see the white color coating of sugar, and that is nothing but the crystallization of sugar, okay. Or sugar coated nuts and fudge are also available, and that are examples of sugar crystallization. So what factors affects on the crystallization of sugar? So first one, that is temperature of crystallization. So temperature at which crystallization occurs affects size of the crystals. Bigger crystals are formed if crystallization occurs at a higher temperature. At a lower temperature, smaller crystals are formed, okay. So it is better to conduct this process at a lower temperatures, okay. So agitation or stirring. So what is effect of agitation or stirring on the crystallization of sugar? So if a cooling supersaturated solution is not stirred at all and left to stand, crystallization start. However, the crystals form would be large and less in number. Okay, so as you don't stir it or don't agitate that particular sugar solution, then it will forms large molecules of crystals. Okay, and stirring the solution favors the formation of small and more crystals. Therefore, stirring results in small sized more number of crystals, resulting in soft and smooth products. Agitation also incorporates air and gives a light texture to the products. So there is also the incorporation of air into the sugar solution due to stirring or agitation, and it will impart light texture to the product. So third point which affects the sugar crystallization, that is interfering substances. So there are lot of substances which interferes with the sugar crystallization. Okay, so substances such as glucose, honey, milk, fat, lemon juice, citric acid and enzymes decrease the process of crystallization. Okay, so these are some interfering substances. These substances are adsorbed by the surface of the crystals and retard crystal growth. This results in the formation of tiny crystals and retard crystals, but more in number, which gives a soft and smooth product. Okay, so when we want a smooth and soft product, then we are going to add it this interfering substances intentionally to that particular product. Okay, so what is given into the do you know box? So sugar industry is the second largest agro processing industry in India, and Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh accounts for major sugar producing state. So Maharashtra and UP, that is Uttar Pradesh, is one of the major sugar producing states. Now fourth, that is the last point from this chapter, is uses of sugar in cookery. So first use of sugar in cookery is sweetening agent. All of you know that we add sugar mainly to various food products to impart sweetness to the product. So food preparation like tea, coffee, milkshake, kheer, gulab jam and puddings will not be palatable without sugar. Okay, so if you don't add sugar to kheer or gulab jam, then you don't want to eat that gulab jam. Okay, so it is very important to add this sugar into this products. Okay, so first use of sugar is as a sweetening agent. Second one, it is used as a binding agent. So in preparation like rava, besan laddu and vadi, we also make rava vadi or barfi. Saturated sugar solution is prepared. Okay, when this solution cools down, sugar crystals are formed. While crystallization is taking place, other ingredients are bound together to give a particular shape. So you can mold that particular product into different shape, and this is due to the ability of sugar to act as a binding agent. Okay, so this is the second use of sugar in cookery. Third use of sugar in cookery is as a coating agent. So in preparation like sugar coated groundnuts, balushahi, sugar coated shankarpali, preparations are dipped in concentrated sugar solution. On cooling, crystals are formed which coat the surface of the product. So this is example of sugar as a coating agent. Next one, that is decorating agent. Okay, so sugar is also used as a decorating agent to garnish some food products. So sugar is the one of the important ingredients used for the icing of cakes and pastries. Okay, so without addition of uh, sugar or icing sugar, we are not able to prepare whipping cream or the icing of the cakes and pastries. Okay, and last use of sugar in cookery is it is used as a preservative. Okay, so a lot of food products we preserve with the help of addition of sugar. So this is the season of mango, all of you know. So we make normally we call it as a muramba or sakaramba, okay, with the addition of sugar. So in products like jam, jelly and muramba, sugar is added in sufficient amounts to preserve the products. About 70% sugar in the preparation is sufficient to preserve the product. Okay, so this is the use of sugar in cookery as a preservative. Okay, so this is all about this chapter, that is sugar and its products. So points to be remembered: most commonly used sugar is sucrose. Normally in our day-to-day life we use sucrose on higher amount. Sugar is of very hygroscopic nature, therefore it should be stored in airtight containers or bags so that it will there will be no any lumps into the sugar. Third one, that is fructose, is the sweetest and most soluble sugar. You have to remember that this is very important point whenever we you are going to give an competitive exams related to food technologies, then such questions will be there in examination. That is sweetest monosaccharide or sweetest sugar is, and answer is fructose, or most soluble sugar is. Okay, this is also fructose. So next point, effect of dry heat on sugar is known to form caramelization product, and effect of moist heat on sugar is known as development of crystallization or crystallized product of sugar. So solution is made up of solute and solvent. Solution are of three types, that are unsaturated, saturated and supersaturated solutions. Okay, so this is all about sugars and its products. Okay, so that is the 13th chapter from your textbook. So go through the exercise, okay, and solve it thoroughly. If anybody have any problem or any queries, then please ask me, okay, on WhatsApp or on our official group. So thank you very much.